Next question says, can you explain the importance of the touch and go bench? So far in guided programming, it's never been taken out or replaced. I'm a bit weaker on touch and go because I'm so used to pausing every other bench movement, and I'm just wondering why it's so consistent. It's a good question. The purpose of the touch and go bench is that it's a highly specific movement. You know, it's very closely related to the competition bench. The only difference is instead of a short pause on the chest, it's touch and go. What we hope to gain from that particular modification, one, it's highly specific. So any improvement in the touch and go bench is likely to lead to an improvement in the competition bench and vice versa. So it's additional volume in a highly specific movement pattern, which is a good thing to have. But then also it should aid in the development of your stretch reflex. Not a ton, you know, it's not plyometric work, but it's a little bit more on the stretch reflex end of the spectrum than a competition pause bench, and certainly more than a long pause bench. So the idea there is that we want you to improve that capability. So for people like you who are weaker at the touch and go bench, we're developing the stretch reflex, which is something that may be a bit deficient in your bench. And then for people who are a bit stronger in the touch and go bench, it's usually just a tiny amount stronger. It helps them get used to producing high levels of force off the chest. So it's a way to not really overload that portion of the movement. Overload's not the right word for it. What I'm talking about is just conditioning the athlete to producing high levels of force in that position. So you can develop strength in a certain range of motion two different ways. You can produce lower levels of force for higher amounts of volume, or higher amounts of time under tension, time under high tension, basically. Or you can produce higher amounts of tension, like super maximal amounts of tension for shorter durations. So this is things like touch and go bench would fall into this category, weight releasers would fall into that category, etc. So those are kind of the two options for coaxing more force from a muscle group in those positions. And so touch and go bench kind of satisfies two requirements there, which is why it's so consistent in your program.